Alright everyone, I've been working on the 4-link suspension for the wife's Project Blown 29 here, and this is where I'm at. I made it out of stainless steel. You can see the tubes down here and the brackets. Here's my top links, triangulated, so it's a triangulated 4-link. And the best what I could come up with, I did a little research on the old interweb. I've done a few 4-link suspensions. First of all, let me say that I've done a few 4-link suspensions. I've done triangulated 4-links. I've done parallel 4-links with a panhard bar. So this setup here is a triangulated 4-link. And what I mean by that is these top links go out at an angle to the frame. And that's what holds your rear end centered then. If you do a parallel 4-link, that'd be, your link bars would be like the bottom ones here. And the top ones, they'd be parallel of each other with the frame. And then you got to run a panhard bar. There's pros and cons of both kind of 4-links. And being I'm not a professional, I can't tell you what's best for your application. But this is what I came up with. I've done them on off-road trucks like this. I've done them on my other hot rod that I built, Ratfish. And I did a triangulated 4-link in the rear of that, and it works out great. So that's what I decided to do in the wife's car here. And once I'm done with everything, I'll take all these link bars back out and I'll polish them up. And, you know, they'll be a polished stainless then, basically. But so I slipped them bungs in there. I got a right hand on one end and a left hand on the other end. So I'm able to adjust the suspension very easily. But what I did is I went on eBay and I bought all these brackets. You know, they were like $30 for all these little tabs and stuff. And, you know, I bought U-shaped ones to go on the rear end. And then I bought just some straight cut brackets to put on the frame. And that's basically how I built all the suspension. But the one thing I have figured out is that your top link should be 70% of the length of your bottom links. So whatever your bottom link ends up being, just multiply it by 70% and you can figure out what your top link needs to be. So here's the look from the side, basically what I ended up with. You know, I just kind of chose a good mounting point to the bottom of the frame and then figured out what I had to have for a top link. So here's how the coil's mounted in the rear, the shocks. And I bought these shock mount brackets off of Speedway. And I did have to ream the holes out, though. I used a 5/8 ream to make the holes bigger because the bolts, that bolt mount that I bought also through Speedway had a 5/8 bolt through it. So I don't know why they sell a shock bracket with only a 1/2-inch hole through it, but I just ran my 5/8 ream through there and all's good. Right now I got it on the bottom hole because I still have my height set peg in there between the axle and the frame. So I was only able to push the spring down so far. So I just mounted it in the bottom hole for now. But once those pegs are out of there, they'll go in the middle hole, and then when the body and everything's done, it should be at the correct ride height. But for right now, I just slid it in the bottom hole. I don't have nuts or anything on anything yet. Nothing's tight. Still in mock-up, but that's just the way I have it for right now. But when I was mounting everything up to tack everything in place, you can see there's a little space in between the heim there and the brackets. I just had a washer in there on one side to create a little bit of a gap. Because what I've had problems with before, if you mount them right to your joint and then tack your tabs, then once you pull all your link bars out and then weld everything together, sometimes them tabs will tend to creep in a little bit. Then you can't get your link bars back in. So I found putting a washer on just one side to create a little bit of a gap. So when you do put everything back together and you tighten everything up, it'll pull that tab in just a little bit. It just makes it easier to take things apart and put it back together. So that's where I'm at on that. Yeah, like I said, with the left hand and right hand threaded bungs and the right hand and left hand threaded joints, it'd be a lot easier to adjust the suspension. This is the first time I've done rights and lefts like that, and I didn't do it before, and then you end up having to take one end of your suspension arm out and turn it to be able to adjust your 4-link into what you need to have. And so I decided to make it easier this time. But yep, that's my 4-link setup on Project Blown 29. And I got more stuff to do yet. This is the back. I did the back half of this frame because the frame wasn't matching the body right. So all this frame rail is new here to the old frame rail. And the next thing I'm going to tackle is making a new transmission mount here. And I'm going to make one that's removable, where this one's actually welded to the frame. And I just think in the future, if I ever had to take the transmission out of this car, it'd be easier to be able to remove the transmission mount out of it. So, and then after I put the body back on and get everything set in place, I should be able to pull this motor out and send it into the machine shop and get the machine work done on it. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. But so yeah, if you got any comments or questions about how I did this 4-link, feel free to ask and comment, thumbs up, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching.